A mechanic's promise. The late afternoon sun stretched long golden fingers across the cracked pavement outside Carter's auto repair. Jason Carter stood at the open garage door, wiping a streak of oil from his hands onto a pair of overalls that had long since surrendered to stains. The small-town mechanic had grown used to quiet evenings like this, engines cooling, the scent of grease heavy in the air, and the slow hum of cicadas drifting across the fields beyond town. But today, something different tugged at the edges of his attention. A soft sound, part sob, part frustrated sniffle, pulled Jason's gaze toward the sidewalk. There, just outside the garage, a little boy sat beside a bent and broken wheelchair. Tears streaked his dusty cheeks as he tried, unsuccessfully, to turn the twisted front wheel. Beside him stood a woman, her shoulders tense with exhaustion, her hands hovering helplessly near the boy's small frame. Jason felt a pinch in his chest. He had seen hardship before, but the look in that boy's eyes, hope mixed with despair, struck him harder than any overdue bill or broken engine. He stepped forward, crouching so he was level with the child. "Hey, buddy," he said gently. "Looks like you've run into some trouble." The boy looked up, his eyes wide and wet. "It broke," he whispered, voice catching. "I was just going down the sidewalk, and it just," he sniffled, glancing nervously at his mother as if afraid to say more. Jason's heart clenched. He turned to the woman, whose tired eyes met his with guarded hope. "Let me take a look at it," Jason offered. "No charge." Her eyes widened. "Are you sure?" I don't have." He raised a hand, cutting her off with a small, reassuring smile. "I insist." Carefully, Jason lifted the wheelchair, its bent wheel wobbling pitifully. The boy's fingers tightened on the armrest until Jason caught his gaze. "I'll fix it," he promised. "Better than new." Late-night repairs. Inside the dimly lit garage, Jason set the chair on his workbench. The front wheel assembly was twisted far beyond a quick adjustment, and the frame was misaligned. The right brake barely caught. It wasn't a simple fix, it was the kind of job that would take time, effort, and parts he didn't exactly have to spare. He glanced at the boy, now perched on a stool, watching him with a mix of awe and nervous excitement. Jason's small business had been limping along for months. Bills piled up like scrap metal in the corner. He could already hear the voice in his head whispering about lost work hours and unpaid invoices. But when he saw the boy's wide, searching eyes again, the voice went quiet. Jason rolled up his sleeves. "All right, let's see what we can do." The hours stretched long. Jason scavenged through old bicycle frames and spare parts. Sparks flew as he welded a makeshift replacement. Grease stained his arms as he bent the misaligned frame back into shape. He tightened bolts, adjusted the seat for comfort, and replaced the brake line altogether. Outside, the sky shifted from gold to deep violet. The boy's mother checked her phone anxiously but said nothing. Jason worked in silence except for the soft clatter of tools and the distant song of crickets. Finally, as the first stars blinked awake, Jason rolled the chair back outside. "All right, buddy," he said, patting the seat. "Give it a try." The boy hesitated before gripping the wheels. He pushed forward gently, and the chair glided across the pavement as if it were new. His face broke into pure, unrestrained joy. "It works," he cried. "It's better than before." His mother covered her mouth, tears pooling in her eyes. She reached for Jason's hand and squeezed it tight. "Thank you. You have no idea what this means to us." Jason only smiled. "That's what mechanics do. We fix things." They left soon after, the boy still grinning, the chair rolling smooth and steady. Jason stood alone outside the garage, the night cool against his sweat-damp skin. He was exhausted, but a deep, quiet satisfaction warmed him. He had done the right thing, even if it had cost him. What he didn't know was that his small act of kindness had already set something much bigger in motion. The jet. 2 evenings later, Jason was closing up the shop. He'd spent the day under a stubborn pickup truck that needed a new transmission, and his shoulders ached. As he reached for the garage door's chain, a sound unlike any he'd ever heard filled the sky. It started as a distant hum, low and growing. Then came a deafening roar that rattled the windows. Jason stepped outside, squinting into the streaked orange horizon. A private jet, gleaming white and silver, descended toward the small airstrip just beyond town. Jason froze. Jets didn't land here, not in a place where crop dusters and medical flights were the only traffic. The jet's wheels kissed the tarmac with a whisper of smoke, sending up a swirl of dust. A sleek black sedan rolled onto the strip, waiting as the plane taxied to a stop. Jason's pulse quickened. The door opened. Metal stairs unfolded. A sharply dressed man in a tailored suit stepped out first, scanning the area before turning back toward the plane. Another figure followed, older, with silver hair, polished shoes catching the last light of the setting sun. Jason felt like an intruder in a scene that didn't belong in his small world. He was about to turn back inside when the older man's gaze locked onto him. Jason stiffened. The men spoke quietly, and then the sedan's engine roared to life. It left the airstrip and headed straight toward Jason's garage. Jason's palms grew damp. "What in the world?" he muttered, wiping his hands on his overalls. The sedan stopped in front of the garage. The first man stepped out, adjusting his cufflinks. "Jason Carter." Jason cleared his throat. "Yeah, that's me." The man offered a polite nod. "My name is Daniel Grayson. I represent Mr. William Hawthorne." He gestured to the silver-haired man now stepping from the vehicle. "May we have a word?" Jason glanced around, half expecting cameras to pop out, but there were none. Just two powerful men standing in front of his humble garage. "Sure," he said cautiously. William Hawthorne's voice carried authority tempered by warmth. 2 days ago, you repaired a wheelchair for a young boy. You refused payment. You worked late into the night to make sure it was perfect." Jason blinked. "Yeah, I did. That boy," Hawthorne said, "is my grandson." The realization hit Jason like a punch. The pieces clicked: the wealth, the jet, the car. Hawthorne stepped closer. "My daughter told me everything. About your kindness. About how you improved the chair instead of just patching it. You didn't just fix a wheelchair, Jason, you gave my grandson his independence." Jason shifted uncomfortably. It was just the right thing to do. Hawthorne's eyes softened. Rare words. And rarer actions. He nodded to Daniel, who pulled a sleek black envelope from his coat. "I don't believe in debts," Hawthorne continued. "I believe in rewarding good people. Inside that envelope is an offer that can change your life." Jason took it with trembling fingers. Inside was a contract, heavy paper, crisp print, and a salary figure so large it stole his breath. You want to hire me?" he stammered. Hawthorne smiled faintly. "Not just hire you. I want you on my team, running a state-of-the-art facility. Designing and repairing advanced mobility equipment. Your skill and heart are wasted in this small garage." He glanced at the grease-stained floor and old tools. "You deserve more." Jason's mind swirled. He thought of the bills on his kitchen counter, the slow months, the worry he tried not to show. But he also thought of the comfort of this place, the life he knew. "Why me?" he whispered. "Because people like you are rare," Hawthorne said simply. "You didn't help for money. You helped because it was right. That's worth more than any degree or resume." The decision. That night, Jason barely slept. The contract sat on his workbench, the numbers and promises swimming in his mind. The garage smelled of oil and old wood, the smell of his entire life. Could he leave it behind? Could he step into a world so different from his own? The next day, he went about his routine, tightening bolts, checking fluids, but his thoughts were elsewhere. Mid-afternoon, the hum of an electric wheelchair reached his ears. Ben rolled toward him, grinning ear to ear. His mother, Olivia, followed close behind. "It's perfect," Ben said excitedly. "It moves so smooth, and I don't even have to push hard." Jason crouched beside him, checking the wheels. "That's what I like to hear." Olivia stepped forward, her voice quieter. "I heard about the offer." Jason nodded. "News travels fast. You could help so many people, Jason," she said. "There are kids like Ben everywhere, kids who need someone who cares. You've spent your life fixing things for this town. But this could be bigger." Ben reached out and grabbed Jason's hand. "If you go, will you still fix my chair if it breaks?" Jason swallowed hard, emotion tightening his throat. "Of course, buddy. Always." Ben grinned. "Then I think you should go." Jason watched them leave, the boys' laughter echoing across the lot. Their words lingered. That evening, as Jason paced the garage again, headlights swept across the gravel. Daniel Grayson stepped from the same sleek sedan. "Still unsure?" Daniel asked. Jason sighed. "I'm just a mechanic. I'm not sure I belong in a place like that." "Come with me," Daniel said. See it for yourself. A bigger world. They drove out of town, fields giving way to rolling hills and distant city lights. After a while, a sprawling facility rose on the horizon, modern glass and steel gleaming under floodlights. Inside, engineers and mechanics moved with quiet purpose, testing wheelchairs, prosthetics, and advanced devices Jason had never imagined. "This is what we do," Daniel said. "We change lives. And we need people like you, not just skilled hands, but someone who cares." Jason watched a young girl test a new prosthetic leg, her face lighting up as she took confident steps. He watched an older man glide effortlessly in a custom wheelchair. A lump rose in his throat. He turned to Daniel. "What happens if I say yes?" Daniel's smile was genuine. "Then your life changes forever." Jason stared at the bustling workshop, the passion, the possibility. And for the first time, the decision felt clear. A new beginning. Weeks later, Jason Carter stood at the entrance of that facility, a badge with his name clipped to his shirt. The hum of machines and the murmur of skilled hands filled the air. He had left behind his little garage, but not the heart that had guided him all along. He poured himself into the work, learning, experimenting, building solutions that could give people freedom. Every wheelchair he touched, every piece of equipment he adjusted, carried the same care he had shown Ben. One morning, he spotted a familiar face across the room. "Ben," Jason called, grinning. The boy turned, seated in a sleek, state-of-the-art wheelchair unlike anything Jason had ever seen. Olivia stood beside him, wiping away a tear. "We wanted to surprise you," she said. "They built this just for him. It's incredible. And it's all because of you." Jason knelt beside Ben, his throat tight. "How does it feel, buddy?" Ben's grin was radiant. "Like I can go anywhere." Jason ruffled his hair, his chest swelling with pride. This moment, was why he had said yes. Olivia handed him a small envelope. Inside was a simple handwritten note. "Thank you for fixing my old wheelchair. But more than that, thank you for believing in me. You didn't just fix something, you changed my life." Jason blinked hard, the words blurring. He looked at Ben and smiled softly. "No, buddy, you changed mine." Jason had spent his life fixing what was broken. But sometimes, kindness could fix more than metal and wheels. Sometimes, it could fix a future. And under the bright lights of the facility, with laughter and hope echoing around him, Jason knew he was exactly where he was meant to be.